Welcome to 50 Nights of Fright. I'm your host, Tommy, joined with Katie. All right, today we are talking about Jeepers Creepers. Now, it's a controversial film for several reasons. We won't go into the director of this series, but the film itself is a horror movie that should be seen. Now, Katie, what do you think of Jeepers Creepers?
I'll admit it's not one of my favorites. I mean, there are some spots where I'm like, okay. And I totally get the storyline. Like, it's not one of those choppy, it's just not one of the ones that I'd like to rewatch a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, I think my favorite part is the addition to the song, how they work that in there.
Uh-huh.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how much more to say about it because, I mean, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. It's just on a scale of other horror movies, this one's in the middle range.
Okay. Was there any, particular kill or anything that stands out to you as something that you really felt?
I like the old cat lady kill.
Okay.
I did.
That's fun. One of my favorite aspects of the Creeper, Jeepers, is how he does always kind of come back, like every 23 years for 23 days and all that. It's very similar to how Pennywise returns.
Exactly.
So it is this kind of creature that has to feed every so often, so it does always have to keep replacing its own parts and things like that. That's why he collects those eyes, those trinkets, things like that. Do you think it is like an homage or reference to Pennywise, or do you think it's just accidental?
I think it is kind of an homage to Pennywise, with Pennywise being its predecessor.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they also added their nice little twist about how when he takes the hearts and the eyes and he eats them and it becomes a part of him, I felt like while it's a nice homage to him, they still made it its own. They didn't just piggyback off of Pennywise.
But one of the things I do really like about the Creeper is how little information we actually get. There's 4 movies now, and there's not a whole lot that goes into what this thing is. I think really only the first 2 movies are
it really give any backstory, which is part of the reason why it's not quite my favorite, because it doesn't quite flesh it out and give its backstory, like how did it start, why is it every 23 years in spring for 23 days, what is with the number 23?
Of course it has Justin Long in the cast, who has really blown up in like the last 10 years. Like I'd always been a fan of him from this and Dodgeball and other like bit parts he did in like the early 2000s. Do you think, like other horror franchises that launch careers, do you think this played a part in Justin Long's kind of launch pad?
Absolutely.
No.
That, along with a few others, but mostly I think that this one really helped launch him because it's horror and there's a vast amount of people that either want to get into it or people in Hollywood specifically that look and see, hey, they can act like this.
Yeah. Well, they're fun to make. One of the things that I enjoyed most when I was taking film classes, when I was in film school, was making horror movies. I mean, you can make them cheap and you make them fun. And I definitely see this as being a fun thing to work on.
I mean, as you know, I'm a hairdresser, and when I originally got out of school, that's what I wanted to do. Because the people that do the makeup and do the hair for all of that, they're cosmetologists.
Yes.
So I wanted to get into stuff like this because it just seems so cool, so fascinating the way they get that, especially with the Creeper.
Yeah, the makeup looks great.
You know that took intricate talent and amount of time to be able to do it.
Oh, a lot of practical effects like that. All of the weapons he creates out of bone, they all look so well made, and like that looks like real bones and stuff. And
I will say that the part where they run him over and then the wing comes out, I love that part because like the whole movie you're like, how is he moving like this?
Yes, yeah.
How is he doing this? And then all of a sudden,
oh, he's got wing. Yeah, yeah. That's a good to point out there. All right, so do you think Jeepers Creepers, despite the controversy around the director, do you think this movie stands on its own? Does it belong on a list like this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yes, there's the controversy, which I'm not getting into, but there's also just the fact that it's such a well-made movie. Even without the controversy, without the people who made it, it is a well-thought-out idea, well-executed idea. If it wasn't for the fact that I'm very particular when it comes to horror movies, it would probably be higher on my list.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you give it?
I would say a solid 7.5.
7.5. That's still pretty good. That's still pretty good. All right. Well, that was Jeepers Creepers. Join us tomorrow when we are covering The Ring.